Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am at Ogilvy India's office with Harshad, Kainaz, and Sukesh, the trio that spearheaded the agency's yet another win at Cannes. Congratulations on bagging 4 medals at Cannes 2024, the three of you. 4 very different campaigns made their mark at the festival. I'm going to start with the campaign that bagged a silver medal at the festival. So, what was the brief for Taj Mahal's Make Santoor campaign, and what was the inspiration behind the campaign, Kainaz?
So, actually, as you know, Taj, the tea Taj, and music are inseparable. It's been there for years. I mean, it started with Zakir, so it's not a new thing for Taj to do something with music. But so far, everything we've been doing was either a television ad or things like Bear Tucks, promoting new musicians, things like that. When the brief came in to do an activation for Vijayawada, which is our main market, the team came up with an idea to do this, and hats off to the client because it took 6 months of work to put that thing up. It took immense amount of R&D. We have seen videos of, the billboard on the floor and you're throwing water on it, trying to figure out whether it's going to work or not when it finally rains. So it was not an easy thing to do at all. It could have failed, but it didn't. So we are very happy about that. And I think all great ideas are like that. No, you don't know if they will really work in any medium until they really happen. But we are glad it worked, and it worked at many levels.
Absolutely it did, and it was worth taking the risk. Moving on to the campaign that won a bronze in the health and wellness category, Impossible Choice. Harshad, it was a very sensitive subject, right? So can you walk me through the process? How challenging was it to capture the impossible choice that the character made? Tell me a bit about that.
So yes, this is for St. Jude Children's Center. And for those who probably still might not be completely aware of their work, this is a wonderful organization. And the premise of the brief itself from the client came to us for our communication expertise. They approached us themselves and said that, a huge part of the work that we do, which is so simple and yet so important, a lot of young children who unfortunately are trying to fight cancer. Thankfully, there are a lot of provisions which our, organizations, authorities, even governments have in place for them. There are many avenues for them to get free cancer treatment. But sometimes I'll give a rough example. If you are in, say, a rural part of, say, this state, Maharashtra, or some of the other states, you can get your child battling cancer to a metropolis like Mumbai, for example, and he or she will get free cancer treatment. But the biggest deterrent is these cities are expensive even for us as citizens of Mumbai, right? Imagine somebody with very, very small means coming with whatever meager savings that they have, and even for accommodation, you won't be able to sustain because there is no place. You can't exactly live in a hotel. You can't even live in a basic lodge. So that was the reason that this organization has centered its work on. And they realized that a lot of children who otherwise stand a chance to beat cancer, their parents, poor things, they ultimately don't have a choice. They have to take them back because they can't live in this expensive city, and you can't exactly live in unhygienic things by just, on a pavement or something. So this organization does great work for that. But in turn, the organization also, since it's a charitable organization, they give it for a very, very nominal, very affordable cost. They give 1 bed, extremely clean and hygienic, environments for the child, and 1 parent to live over there. And everything is taken care of, their hygiene, food, well-being while they are undergoing treatment. But unfortunately, not too many people knew about this. So when an organization like this, which survives on contributions and donations from well-meaning organizations and individuals, if they don't have their initial calling card, of course it was known for its wonderful work in niche circles, but they wanted to widen the audience to know what St. Jude does. And hence the brief given to us was, how do you communicate this? And that's when our team, coincidentally, it's the same team, same core team that did the Make Santoor work. So that also shows the variety of work that they have covered. So it's the same Taj Mahal team which worked on this, led by Fritz and Jayesh. And they stumbled upon, we had a lot of internal sessions where they came up with a lot of ideas. And when we were sitting together, we realized that something they had was so potent. They had actually created something which made the viewer step into the shoes of what a difficult task it is for even people at St. Jude. When they have limited resources, they have to almost play, it's almost cruel, but they have to play God. They have to decide between who lives and who potentially, doesn't survive. And you can help us make more people choose life if you keep on contributing money to St. Jude, which will help us add more beds. So that's where the core idea of Warden Pillai came from, and it brought it to life in such a heart-tugging way.
Absolutely. And I think another thing that was common between these two campaigns, Make Santoor and Impossible Choice, was rains, as you mentioned, but from a very different perspective.
One was for, really bringing in the pathos in this one and the dilemma of the impossible choice.
Absolutely.
Again, from what I recall Fritz and Jayesh telling us, coincidentally, when you have a piece of work, till then you haven't called it anything. But the world, like you asked me about what was the impossible choice. Coincidentally, we had a wonderful client team who was so sincere and driven in this. They loved the work we had created. They were the ones, the client team gave the name, from what I recall, the impossible choice when we put it up. And that's the tag with stuff.
And if we think our job is hard, imagine the job of the man who has to decide which child gets to live and which child will not.
Yeah. And we are very happy again for Mahesh. He, in fact, in his debut year as director, is a double Canlan winner. One for this and one for the Vodafone network also. He's the same director who helped us bring both these pieces alive.
Wonderful. Okay, moving on to the campaign that won a bronze in the entertainment category, Cadbury 5 Stars Erase Valentine's Day campaign. Sukesh, can you tell me what inspired this campaign?
See, 5 Star is most of us know 5 Star as one of the most fun brand, and it's a local jewel that we have here in Mondelez. And I think it's been now 3 or 4 years we've been doing. Valentine's Day is actually, for 5 Star, the opposite of what it stands for the other brands in the Mondelez world. Chocolate is something is gifted by all people to their lovers, to the person they like on Valentine's Day. And 5 Star is a strong champion of counterculture. And it has a tagline which we've been building for the last couple of years called Do Nothing. Mm-hmm. So Valentine's Day became actually in one of our groups we found out that this is too much of mush around, and a 5 Star chocolate guy or girl, either of them, but actually saying this is too much of love happening and we don't believe in this kind of demonstration of so much love. So we had to do an idea, and we see this is a year-on-year idea we've been doing, which is about if you remember the mass detector like year before that. And this year the example was a stunning idea. Again, the team that works, Karuna Sagar and his boys and girls, I think they came up with a stunning idea, and in one line, whoever heard it was, it's actually, you're gonna skip the 14th of February. And all you had to do was get on a ship and go across the timeline, and 1 minute you're gone. In your life, there'll be no 14th of February. What a lovely way to miss Valentine's Day. And again, which is what we are so proud of, that, what we three of us have been talking, is that all the amazing ideas mean nothing if you don't have amazing partners who believe in it, who back it, who actually make a ship happen, who actually sail the ship on that particular day across Samosa to make sure that it skips Valentine's Day. You have X number of people who travel, who are the people who won the contest to be on the ship. You have a gazillion number of people who are watching it live, and it's being broadcasted like a actual beautiful show as in real time happens by somebody who is able to hold the whole thing together as a show. So please understand that it's a phenomenal partnership to build our, it's experience idea executed by Ogilvy. We have a team. So we have tech teams in here, we have experience teams in here, we have idea teams in here. So I think we are lucky to have the best of minds who are not just being able to conceive of great ideas, who have great partners who believe in them and make them happen. But you also have great partners in-house in Ogilvy now who make the tech happen, who make the on-ground experience happen. So it's a fantastic example of teamwork, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
Ogilvy team at play and having a lot of fun and play, because we believe that advertising requires a lot of laughter and some serious brands to do some really great engagement work that also is the need of the hour. I think we are very lucky to have 5-star as a brand, which is just year on year, nothing university, must detector. It is Valentine's Day. The body of work is outstanding, you know. And for a local jewel, that's how it's defined in a global multinational, because for them it's a local brand and it's not a global brand like unlike Cadbury. It's great to have that brand sitting with Cadbury, and you know, if Cadbury can win, so can 5-star. And that's amazing.
And as an industry, I think we are starved for irreverence
Yeah,
and
fun.
you know, levity and things like that. It's really, really great to have a brand that is consistent in the fact that we are going to go after this quirk.
And you should do actually a session. I think that you should do session with our people who are people behind this idea as a suggestion. You have to see how funny they are.
I would love to meet them.
It'll be the best session. I think they'll get more people watching it than us, because we are blessed to have icons. I call them. We give them many names. But what we love about all our people is they're all different. But what bounds them is this pure hunger for the craft of not just being the simplest ideas, the most refreshing ideas, and then they go all out with a smile on their face to make sure it's crafted to the best possible level, whatever the idea be, whether it's an emotion, whether it's St. Jude. It's amazing. You got to meet these teams. They are quite icons.
So 4 very different campaigns made their mark at the festival, as we've already covered. And you mentioned the power of teamwork, and you mentioned the power of clients believing in you.
Absolutely.
Sukesh, can you speak more to that? Can you tell me how clients believing in your work helped you get to where you are today?
Very interesting question. I think at the end of the day, if we are very clear in our head that we are in a business, and we feel and we believe, not just feel, we strongly believe that ideas are the best way for your businesses to grow. And I think we have all the projects that we have mentioned across, whether it's a Unilever account or whether it's a charity organization that came to us, we have delivered business results for them. And when you deliver business results for them, they only get stronger in their belief in you. So you can indulge me by making an idea happen because you want to indulge your partner. But if the idea doesn't deliver business for you, you will think about it. You will not be so certain. We have seen, and we have grown in this company. All of us have spent our life here. I've spent all my life here. They have spent a life here also. Now you can call them a lifer.
Half a life.
Half a life here. I have a full lifer here. And I've always seen, and I can tell you with certainty that whenever a creative idea delivers, your partnership only grows stronger. It is not a chance, it is not luck, it is not nothing. But you make your partner's businesses thrive. You make them thrive with work that people say, oh my God, that was so surprising. I didn't expect it coming. Whether it's a video, whether it's experience, whether it's a print, whatever it is, any medium. I feel today we are living in a world, if I was a young creative person, I would say, oh my God, the world is like an open opportunity for me. From when I started to where I am today, things have changed dramatically. You can do things that you couldn't even imagine, you know. And we are making them happen. We are working on, just example, Mondelez as a case example, or TCC, Coca-Cola. We are making Stump Cam happen. We're giving you content of a World Cup that you never will get from any live feed. We're giving you a joke in a bottle, which is on every bottle. The bottle that you drank with is much more than a bottle now. We are giving you a gifting solution that you can make a personalized birthday song along with the box that you give. So if you have such strong ideas, when you do such strong integration and you see the joy, you know, I'll give you an example. It was my birthday recently and the team made a song for me and I cried.
That's so
Someone
sweet.
who creates an idea to be a part of idea, to be stumped. So I'm saying that that's the power of an idea. And sometimes I feel that consistency of performance also gives you a strong belief and backing by clients. So this partnership is beautiful two-way street. It's of giving and getting, and you have to make sure that they get something for them to give you stuff.
I just have one small bit to add from after years of being, extremely passionate creatives, all of us. Sometimes when you're just starting off in this profession, it's a little difficult to comprehend and appreciate every side of the business. It's only later with a certain maturity that we all start appreciating, because we as a daily routine, we face a lot of rejection in this industry as creatives. You're like, a mother of an idea you are like the mother of the idea you're wanting to conceive and come out with. But it's not up to you, but it depends on the client's patronage. But later on, you start realizing that the client's task is also equally, if not more difficult, because at least as creative people, we know in our guts, we know in our hearts what we want to come out. But it depends on a certain partnership, a certain funding from the clients. Ultimately, we are all together joint custodians of the brand, and it has to be relevant for the brand. But can you imagine all these clients that you asked us about, and many more in our equation? We have some fabulous client partners. They are parting a substantial part of a certain budget on something that is still in the air in your heart. And that is where the client's trusting partnership and then equation comes into play. You're asking them to spend lakhs, crores of rupees on something which they're trusting you with, which is right now just a figment of your imagination. Maybe it's a script on a paper. But that is where I think it's even more commendable what a client and the journey that they have to walk with us. They are literally trusting our gut, funding our gut, and then they are standing by us and applauding it.
Yeah, I think one of the best things, I think it's like any great relationship.
Right.
It's a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot, sit out there and say, I am, I know, we know everything and we can make everything happen. It's got to be a conversation. And in any relationship, there are fights, which is fantastic because it's a healthy sign of, you are alive and you're doing something which is bothering because you care, or you make somebody feel something. So we have seen, as per my understanding, and I feel that a majority of our clients at Ogilvy are partners who have a phenomenal relationship because of which we are able to create a body of work which is surprising, which is not, can't put in a box that, this is a kind of work that one does. And that's what drives us, the three of us, I think, is that just the depth of people, the talent that we have, the kind of work that we are doing is honestly being propelled, I would say propelled by the belief of clients that we have and the partnership.
So true. Harshad, you briefly mentioned facing rejection in this business, which is a natural part of it. So campaigns that you truly believe in, make it to Cannes, you get shortlisted and don't come back with an award home. So agencies that are struggling to find that spark back, who could not bring home a trophy this year, what will your message be to them?
I would say not just to the agencies who didn't bring back a trophy. Like, for example, the passion that agencies, creative people, and not just creative people, we consider everybody in the ecosystem creative. Our planning partners, our account management partners, our creative technology partners, media partners, all of them are there on this, almost this creative mission. Why only other agencies? Even we had 4 of them converting into this thing. But yet we had belief in a lot of our pieces which probably didn't come back with the medal. But as long as you can, decipher it in your head and heart, my only advice to everybody, including our people and the agencies that you spoke about, is this is something which actually came to us early on in our years at Ogilvy from Piyush Pandey. And he has seen it all. So he has this belief. He would say that first and foremost, work for the audience, the people of our country whom it is intended for. For him, he always uses this term that the award is like an icing on the cake, but your main award or your main satisfaction and gratification will come when people around you are getting it on their WhatsApp groups. The neighborhood auntie comes and tells your mom, hey, आपने वो ad देखा, क्या मजेदार बात कही, या क्या कितनी emotional बात कही. That means the work is affecting the people. That is his first and foremost advice to us. Secondly, yes, awards are extremely important because they kind of help you push the edge of where your profession is headed. It keeps on telling you that world over people are trying out newer things and that is getting acknowledged. It inspires a whole lot of the community to keep pushing it, like in any other thing. Auto awards, auto design awards do that for the automobile industry. In everything, sciences, technology, arts, everything has its own way of cinema. Oscars propel the craft of filmmaking ahead. Otherwise, you won't be pushing the boundaries. But Piyush also says something else. As long as you, your client partner, and the whole ecosystem around and your consumer are extremely happy with it. Be content in the fact that you have done everything possible you could do. You have left no stone unturned till the time the piece of work leaves your table. Then you just give it out to the universe, you give it out, it doesn't remain your work, then it becomes the consumer's work. The best award for any piece is when consumers start making it a part of their life. They start using the slogans or the language that you have used. As long as that happens, as long as you have dispatched that work with utmost intent and the fact that I have done something which I believe is truly wonderful and is pushing the craft and my profession, I'd be happy with that. Aage ka what happens in the jury room is an added bonus. He just keeps calling an award that. If you win an international award, if you win a Lion, if you win a One Show, if you win a Clio, that's the icing on the cake. That doesn't take away from the cake.
Right.
So that's what we believe in, and that would be my advice to everybody. Give it your whole heart. Don't try and create only a formula to crack for awards. Do something innovative, something which pushes the boundaries and delight people around. In the process, I'm sure at some point or the other, the awards will come.
Right.
True. 100%. Kay, you want to add something on that?
No, I just remembered somebody very senior in the industry had once told me that awards are fantastic if you don't pay for it with your sanity. You know, the minute you start doing that, then in the balance of things, it's not worth it.
So, we have a very nice thing she said. I believe that you win with a smile. You should also lose with a smile also. I think you, like Harshad rightly said, we are very competitive. Please don't get us that we are complacent about it, because what we send, we take immense pride in. But winning and losing are a big, it's a
Yeah, it's like a cosmic lottery. It's about people in that room.
Yeah, so you have to lose with a smile also, because if you don't lose with a smile, you can't come back the next day. But you got to go back and, so someone just said, we just saw a lovely, in our meeting right now. After you won a gold, you come back to base level on next day. And that's exactly our collective motive is, if I can speak for all of us, is that whatever you win, bronze, silver, gold, Grand doesn't matter. It's a great thing. It's for that moment. Next day, you're back to ground zero. You start all over again. So whatever you do, whether you win or you lose, you start all over again.
Right, and as Piyush says, aage badho.
Aage badho. Yes, you can't. You get stuck onto it, you're finished.
Yeah.
You will live in your past laws who nobody will care about. Like he rightly said, most of us, we are very happy to be in an organization where our work gets spoken about at dining tables. Mm-hmm. People at dinner table take effort to talk about what you've done. What else could you ask for? Honestly, we are the interruption in people's life. We are not the thing that they come to watch. So if an interruption can be spoken with so much love and debate and, dissected and, debated over, it's amazing. So when we find our school group, our family group, our building groups when our piece of work enters, is the best thing I think that's the biggest award for us.
Yeah, if you're becoming a part of culture, you're defining culture. If people, embrace it and make it a part of their lives, that's a different kind of a high.
Kainaz, you spoke about people in the room, you spoke about the jurors. So at the end of the day, every campaign is presented as a case study in front of them, right? So can you tell me how much storytelling matters in these case studies?
Okay. We are laughing because case study is an industry in itself,
Okay.
Advertising idea.
But I'll tell you, there are two things here. One is that any case has to be explained and it has to be done. But when you're coming from India and you're using something very cultural, like for example, a Dabba Wala. When you're doing something with a Dabba Wala, you have the added burden of explaining your culture context. So you have to explain what is a Dabba Wala and then go on to explaining the idea. So the storytelling has to be absolutely impeccable and tight. But we get a lot of help, I must admit it. We have a Asia network, our boss Reed Collins, we have Liz, we have Joe. All these people, they get in. When they see potential in a case, they get into it and they ask us that, can we tell the story like this? Also, what it really helps us, because we have a sounding board. They're from the West. When we show it to them, and if they're not excited by it, then we try and explain it to them and they're like, but that didn't come out. So there'll be somebody from Japan in a jury, there'll be somebody from Australia in a jury, there'll be somebody from a different country in a jury, and you don't have control over that room. All you can control is that case study which they're going to see. Which is why it is a lot of effort, but it's the only thing, it's like the last mile. If you don't do that well, no matter how good your idea is, it's not going to be communicated.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Dabba Walas. I was just coming to that campaign. So, We Human Network Testing Network. Can you tell me about that campaign? That campaign also won a bronze at the festival. So, walk me through the process. How did you capture the cultural nuances, as you said? So, tell me a bit more about that.
No, so the campaign is, you know about the campaign. We used Dabba Walas in Mumbai to really test the network. And when we were explaining it to our own teams in US and all, what we tried to tell them is Dabba Walas is not Uber Eats. Long before Uber Eats, these guys existed. They functioned with the accuracy of technology without technology. That's the power of Dabba Walas. And therefore, when this idea happened and we said that, okay, let's use them. They are like the gold standard of reaching anywhere. And let's use them. They can reach where no technician can to really test how our network is doing. I think what was also nice about that case, I feel, is when we were doing the case study, we wanted to show even the places where the network didn't reach and how we corrected for it. So I think that was a good part of, I felt that worked for the case. Because it was not just like a miracle that we went and, these Dabba Walas took our phones and in every corner of Mumbai it's working. No, where it was not working, we used that data to then strengthen it. So I think one other thing I want to mention is it won in creative strategy. The guy who wrote creative strategy, his name is Abir Banerjee. This was his first Lion. So when we won the award and we told him about half an hour later, he suddenly messaged me saying, I'm going to break some tables and chairs now.
I'm so happy. That was out of happiness. Let us clarify.
Yeah, of course, out of joy.
And again, our partner, I want to add in, somebody who understands Mumbai so well. So when this activity was unfolding, each one of them that you see in any of the content pieces are actual Dabba Walas. We tied up with the organization. We have another, wonderful person in-house called Krishna. He facilitated the whole bridging of, bringing that organization, working with the Vodafone.
The same guy who worked also on the 5-star.
Yeah. So, and after all of this had to be brought alive in the content piece and shot, which captures really their buzzy and busy way of going about Mumbai. That was again Megh, the same guy who directed the St. Jude, the Impossible Choice film. Okay. So again, like I mentioned earlier, I think it couldn't have been a better beginning for his filmmaking. He's a very senior creative person before he turned to a filmmaker. He used to be a CCO of one of our Ogilvy offices. But in his debut year, both We Dabba Walas and St. Jude have picked up lines. So a big congrats to Mahesh.
So we have contributed to the industry with many directors, many other creative people. So Ogilvy is like I think a tree that just gives and gives and gives, and I hope it continues to give to others because it's nice because he will go and help other people do also great work because he's a filmmaker now. So it's fantastic. We have so many filmmakers outside from us.
Kainaz, you mentioned Mr. Banerjee's reaction, who strategized the campaign. Do you remember winning your first can?
Wow.
Yes, So I remember first can happened very late in my career. It happened in 2009 in JWT. Yeah, I remember winning it, but that was not the happiest moment. The happiest moment was the first shortlist.
Which is like an award. It is considered an award.
So it was in 2003. And it was for a film to save the tiger. The client was Sanctuary. It was a competition that was run in office where Aggie gave us a brief and he told us that, whoever writes the best film for this will get 6 cans of beer. Okay. So my film got selected.
I wonder what you do with the beer.
No, so I went to him. At that time I used to drink and I went to him and I said that thank you. And I was very new in the office, but I don't drink beer. Can I get vodka? So, so then when it got shortlisted, there were only 2 films shortlisted from India. Both were from Ogilvy. One was for this, one was from Save the Girl Child, done by another girl called Lata. And I remember
sorry,
the
not
reason...
from Ogilvy, from Leo Burnett.
From Leo Burnett, sorry. It was from Leo Burnett. And I really, that is very precious to me because TOI had done an ad before the night of the awards saying, will the tiger back the lion? Because it was for Save the Tigers. The ad was for Save the Tigers. And that's why that is my most precious thing.
Do you remember your first?
Again, in my case, while technically you might call medals and the Cannes trophies as this thing, I have to say this, and I say this with utmost humility. I walked into the profession. I was, of course, training through my art school years at JJ. I was working with a place called Trikaya. Then I did a brief stint with Dakuna just when I graduated. And in my first year, I found myself in Mudra, Mumbai. And there used to be a very senior creative partner I had named Pushpinder, known as Pushpi. So he and I hit it off on certain projects, and while we were technically in different teams, we started working together on some stuff. And we had worked on something, back then McDonald's India was a client, and we had done some quirky and fun stuff. It was a calendar and a series of posters, and of course, Pushpi had come up with the idea. I was the art director on the job, but between the two of us, we had brought it alive. And because I was a 20-year-old who has just stepped into the profession, I'd heard of Cannes Lions, of course, in my advertising studies in art school, but I didn't quite know the magnitude. It starts affecting you when you run through the process and you know the rigor. But little did I know that in my first year, in a few months of doing that work, that piece of work picked up a Clio medal. It picked up, ad clubs and, a local CAG award. That was the last year of CAG. And it picked up, back then it was called the Cannes finalist. And so while everybody around was coming in and congratulating and hugging us, for this 20-year-old kid who had just walked into the big world of advertising, it didn't quite hit me. It felt good to have that kind of adulation and applause around, but I didn't even have an idea of how big that deal was. Until back in the day, now Cannes has also evolved over the years. Now shortlist, of course, is considered like one show's equivalent of a merit award. One show calls it the merit award, Cannes calls it a shortlist. Back then it was called a finalist. And the gravity of it really hit me when Cannes sent a nice framed certificate with an embossed, like a foiled emblem with the lion over there, and it said Cannes finalist. And that's when it hit me, the gravity of what I had. It was proudly put up in my home then. I live in a different home now, on my wall. And that is a memory I cherish forever, because that really kind of spurred me on and gave me a taste of how big this is and what are the numbers you're competing against. So that was my first Cannes, let's say, experience.
Right, and you were in your early 20s when...
I was 20 years old, literally 20, not even early 20s.
Lovely.
I was 20 when that happened.
So, do you remember it opening doors for you professionally?
Okay, let me say it this way. It definitely helps. It helps in your peer community, because as far as the consumer work goes, I mean, sometimes, that again, it can be a balance of both. But within the profession, other creative directors, other people in the creative community tend to look at you and take like a harder look at you. They want to see more. I mean, of course, you have to be consistent. Luckily for me, that what that did is, I love that feeling so much. This happened in 1997. In 1998, it had spurred me on to say, okay, that felt great last year. I can't not be winning something this year. So I came up with one more idea over there and ended up picking up Mudra's first ever AdFest Asia Pacific. It was a silver this time. So that, it's like a chain reaction. It sets off something, it starts fanning a fire, it feeds the hunger. So that changed for me. In terms of perception, I think now I can say from this vantage point, you can't choose either or. I believe at core that what you're doing and what technically award should be acknowledging is you're doing things in a different way, in a very interesting and relevant way. That is creativity. And I think you have to strike a fine balance of It can't be work for creativity's sake alone. It still has to have its core purpose at heart. So that's a balance I learned early on. And yes, of course, it helped me. It, of course, while doing the task well, it shouldn't be like a 6 on 10 if I were to scale it. Try and push it to an 8, try and push it to a 9. That's where it is also working in the marketplace and it is also standing out amongst the clutter.
Okay.
So that's what I learned.
Okay. Sukesh, do you remember your first experience of winning Can?
Yeah, I think it was something for, I think MTDC was the first one, or whether it was adoption. Yeah, adoption, Mattel, one of those three. I remember, I can't remember exactly which one before the other. But I feel what Harshad said is very interesting. We have been taught here as a school, this is my school, that do the best work of your life, enjoy doing the best work of your life, and then if it wins, it's just like the icing on the cake. And that's the feeling that, and what it does is it propels you to think harder, to push yourself harder, because what you start, first your world is here, and then you do this and you get noticed and say, okay, this is amazing, people found my work or our work very interesting. Then you look at the other work that beat you and say, oh, that's even better. So if they can think like, why can't you? So you basically push yourself. It motivates you, it drives you, it kind of propels you to just feed your own, how can you feed your own imagination to like push further?
Right.
So it makes you sharper, more observant of what's happening in the world, kind of makes you do better stuff, right? And that's the thing that really matters here. So it's a good hunger to have. I mean, it's a great hunger. And I think to us, we keep talking. Piyush is one of the best examples of it. Even this day and today, the kind of stuff that we are doing are so unique and so different. The amount of time he spends understanding all the new experience-based ideas, how, why, what can you do with it? How can you do it? That basically tells you one thing at the end of the day. If you are hungry, you will win hell of a lot. You will do so well. If you're not hungry, and if it doesn't motivate you, and if it doesn't excite you, then this is going to be so what is going forward in career, or what is going forward? We look and we are so amazed that the people that we work with, we can clearly tell that these people, there's a bunch of people that are driven, who are driven to a different extent, that they want to push their own work and define and move them better. And automatically, it's just a way of life. If you're hungry, you will do better, you will show better, and you will do well.
Absolutely, so true. A lot was said about India's representation at Cannes this year. I'm going to leave this question open to the room. So, what are your thoughts on India's representation at Cannes? Can we start with you, Kainaz?
Yeah, sure. So I remember getting some article in my inbox and I messaged the journalist saying, how can you write like that? You can't write like that. See, if you just asked me to compare apples and apples, did we win as much as India was winning every year? We did not. India did not bring back, that many medals. But I'm very, very proud of the showing that India had at Cannes. I mean, so many different pieces won. It was not one piece winning everything. That means that the caliber of work overall and across the industry is going up. A new agency which has just been established 6 months back. We had 2 Glass Lions won by India. We won in the categories of entertainment, creative strategy, creative effectiveness, health. Yeah. I mean, our representation has gone wider. So I don't think maybe that was a better clickbait than what I'm saying that India is, down in the dumps. But I was truly proud of the work. Can we do better? Of course we can do better, but it is not possible to always be at one level. There will be ups and downs, and to not accept that or to whip yourself for that. What I would be very hard on is if we did not have the work.
Yeah.
If we did not have the work, I would be very hard on all of us, I mean, all 3 of us would be very hard on that we don't have the work. But if you have the work, and for whatever reason, it doesn't cross that room for that reason, you have to respect it. If you're entering a competition, you have to respect the jury's decision. You can't whip yourself for that. Yep.
Right.
I'll tell you, I was judging Curious, and I was sitting with other jury presidents, and I exactly, mirror her sentiment, because in that room, all of us said, whatever work was entered at Curious, we were saying them print and outdoor, and there was a work for Denso, there was VML. We said we have some fantastic pieces of work as a country, and we all said to ourselves that we hope we do well, and there are some phenomenal innovations, there are phenomenal print ideas. It happens, and I agree. We can always look back and say, and like I said, lose with a smile, or go back next year and hopefully do even better than what we did. So we are very proud of the work that we are creating for our market, and I'm talking about the industry per se. And I also take in the young people who are doing their own thing, big networks like us. As Curious, as jury president, I was sitting and I was looking at the work, and I said, hey, we have some phenomenal films, we have some phenomenal print, we have some phenomenal outdoor, we have some great ideas that have gone on to win Grand Prix and Pencils and One Show and Clio. So it's not that. Maybe the luck didn't roll, maybe the jury did not find it as exciting as Clio. Look at the work awarded from VML at Clio, One Show. Look at the work that Clio, for example, for Burnett and everyone. So it's a great body of work. Everyone is pushing, and I think what the best part is, we are doing crazy, integrated, phenomenal ideas from India. And that makes me no less proud, because we are doing world-class work. We're doing world-class work which is done at faster speed, because our timelines, and we are doing craft which is world-class. So we are no more just a filmmaking, we are probably the leaders in tech innovation. Look at the idea of work that we're doing in tech. We are today working for global markets from India, and that makes me really cool. Our tech team executes work for Europe, for UK. So we are doing cutting edge creativity right now. So, but still point taken, and absolutely respected that we got to get better. We will get better. But at no level I would put a headline saying India is down in the dumps. No chance. Not happening.
Right. So you both spoke about the wide spectrum of work that was sent to Cannes, and
not just wide spectrum.
Right.
The body of work that won very big in other international award shows, whether for us or for the agency. It's just that it didn't roll the same way at Cannes. That happens.
Right.
So if we didn't win at One Show, for example, or didn't win at then there's a concern. So it's just that what that room feels about your work, and that's fine. That's okay. I mean, you're totally respected. But no, I'm not going to put a headline saying India is down the dumps. No chance.
Last question, Sukesh. What would be your advice to agencies who are preparing for next year?
Be honest, and don't create work for an award. Is the only advice, because we can never hack it.
Right.
There is no way you can hack a system called award. Be surprising, be very simple, is what I have always learned. My jaw drops even today, and I see some other piece of work like this year in Canada, like, that was so simple. Why did we think of it? I get jealous like hell, and be jealous like hell, but with a smile on your face. And I think you will just do phenomenally well, because if you are driven and you're open to seeing others and applauding others, be big enough to applaud others, then only you will push yourself, because I cannot be in this, I'm the best and I can do everything. No, you can't. So just smile, and you will do even better next year. That's what I feel.
Harshad?
My advice to everyone is, I love analogies first of all, so I'll use an analogy. Saying be inspired by India's cricket team. 2023, the same captain Rohit Sharma, and collectively a nation went through a heartbreak. We lost it. I'm equating that with losing it technically, or what people are going, oh, India lost. But did we feel any lesser about our people and their effort and the game that they had put up till the thing got called out? We still felt what a phenomenal team and what performance they put up on display. And there will be another year to fight. I mean, that's the best lesson. The same 2023 team, today we are all on cloud nine by what they did against South Africa right now in the Caribbean. So I'm saying, even when you didn't have the so-called win, as long as the world knew that this is what you brought to the table and we played like champions, the work was on display. I'm again using that in our context. That's okay as long as the work is there. Like Kainaz said, we know that we have the work. That's what the Indian team did in 2023. We might not have won the title, but this year we did. We came back strong, and on that particular day you held your nerves, and today we have the title. That's bound to happen with agencies also. Don't let any year discourage you. but do exactly what the Indian team did. Let your performance be there for everybody to see and appraise and say that, wow, they are a fighting bunch. I want that tag for India. And India has that reputation. Once upon a time, you said that probably about the West, or once upon a time only about the Latin American countries. India has a newfound respect. And I'm saying we take pride in us being a part of it, but so many of our other, fellow agencies across the industry. In that, I think Indian advertising industry as a whole needs to take pride in it. So many of our, our fellow agencies, what Burnett has been doing, what Talented has done over the years, and so what FCB has been doing, I think it all collectively adds to our dabdaba, or the Indian weight at Cannes. I think we should all take collective pride in what we are doing as a country, and we are just on the other side.
And also don't forget the Grand Prix in titanium, because they all have been won on serious, solid work. We don't create work to win. We win on work that has done phenomenal in the market. So we as a country are a country that has won. We're not talking about goals, we're talking about titanium and Grand Prix. So we are talking about big stuff, and in a very heavily contested category. So the same country is doing it, and we're going to do it again. I'm 100% sure. I know our contemporaries out there, I know our colleagues out there, very capable, very, we compete with them on a daily basis, and I think they are phenomenally talented to do it.
100%.
Yeah.
Kainaz, closing thoughts.
Yeah, I think we should go for the most ideas that feel most impossible to do. I always feel we somehow do it, and those are the ideas that really win big.
That's cool. She's given
very good.
She's given a name to one of the ideas that we are working for 1 year. And Kainaz cracked it in a lounge in the airport like this. And we are struggling to make it happen, but she's absolutely right. If that idea comes through, we know it. You just know it. But it'll happen someday.
Right. Thank you
Thank
so
you, guys.
much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
for
much.
having us on this.
This is good fun.
Superb. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.